Niger's army has declared its support for the soldiers who say they're ousted or have ousted President Mohamed Bazoum from power. The head of the army said he was pledging allegiance in order to avoid a deadly confrontation between various military forces. A group of elite troops detained President Bazoum at his palace on Wednesday, claiming it was a coup.
Gunshots outside the presidential palace in Niamey. Soldiers fire into the air to disperse protesters. As members of the Presidential Guard say they had overthrown the government and detained Niger's president.
All the institutions of the Seventh Republic have been suspended. Land and air borders are closed until the situation stabilizes. A nationwide curfew is in effect from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. until further notice.
But on Thursday morning came a promise from the president that democracy will remain intact. Mohamed Bazoum saying in a social media post, the hard-won achievements will be safeguarded, and that all Nigerians who love democracy and freedom will see to it. But that may be hard to achieve in reality, with the mutinous group of soldiers calling on Niger's external partners not to interfere, among them the United States.
We condemn any effort to seize power by force. We're actively engaged with the Niger government, but also with partners in the region and around the world. We'll continue to do so until the situation is resolved appropriately and peacefully.
Like its West African neighbors, Mali and Burkina Faso, Niger is battling extremism and is a key Western ally in Africa. It has experienced several coup attempts since gaining independence from France in 1960. Two of those involving the current president. And with instability threatening to take over the country again, Western leaders and the international community is watching on with concern.
Over to our correspondent in neighbouring Nigeria, Amaka Okoye. Bring us up to date on the latest developments.
Right, Ben. We're rather seeing interesting development really coming out from Niger, especially crowds of protesters now gathering at, Niger's National Assembly in the capital, Niamey, in support of the coup, as well as the military now has also pledged allegiance, and shown their support to the defense and security forces that indeed ousted President Mohamed Bazoum. This now kind of casts a shadow on, all the information we've only been hearing from, the foreign minister, who says that he is now the interim leader and that the latter government remains legitimate. But with this happening now, we're clearly unsure what this means, especially if the people are now showing support as opposed to what we saw earlier and saying that this is what we want. Then there seems to be more that we're going to be seeing, in the coming hours based on what is happening and what has already taken place in Niger in terms of the coup, Ben.
Amaka, what do we know about this group that started the coup?
Sorry, I lost you a bit.
What do we know about the group that started the coup?
Right. So yesterday we did know that they were the presidential guards, that locked off the president at the time in the palace, and when this escalated. And then, of course, we saw members from the defense and security forces saying, we have now overthrown this government, for lack of a better word, and that we are now in charge. So as far as we know, these are soldiers also. And then the military joining forces now with the military, who is saying we're in support of this. It really just seemed like the government is on its own, and the military is now joining forces with the defense, security forces to say, yes, this coup has happened. And indeed, they are in charge. As you do know, they have dissolved the constitution and dissolved also all the institutions, closed the land borders, and warned that no international, community should intervene. So clearly, it seems like they are really in charge then.
And what's going to happen to political stability in the region, considering Islamist forces that have been increasing their influence in the Sahel region?
I think that that's a very crucial, question, because we do know that Niger has had its own share of insecurity, infiltration from jihadist group as well. And so with this coup, it kind of worsened the situation, because even trying to put the country together becomes difficult. If there be any strategies that have been put in place or they plan to put in place, clearly it is going to be a challenge for that, because there is already chaos and the country don't seem to know who is in charge. I mean, in terms of the presidency still claiming that they are in charge, and the people saying, well, we are in support of the coup. There is going to be more chaos, and really there is no coming together. There is more, it's worsening the political situation and stability in the region that we already know has been, plagued by a lot of all of these security challenges, even in the past, Ben.
OK, we'll be following this story with you closely. DW's Amaka Koye in Lagos, thank you very much.